Hello, dear listener. I'm so glad you decided to tune in this week and spend some time with us. Today we are sipping on some Chamba Chai. Cheers, friend.
Clink.
With Alex and Madeleine. If you hear a little slurp here and there.
Should I do it?
Oh, no. I think the word slurp is worse than the actual slurp.
That's true.
And we are listening to... Oh, no, this changed. We are... Imagine us sitting at a cafe. It's about 9 p.m. In the summertime. The sun has just set. And we're drinking a coffee or whatever... Chamba Chai, whatever hot beverage you want to imagine. In Italy.
In Italy. I'm imagining, too, that I'm eating some tasty confection. Give me an eclair.
Oh, an eclair.
That's French.
Gelato. We could have...
Ooh, yes.
We could have, like, a bread basket with some vinegar on the side with, like, really nice.
Olive oil?
Yeah. Anyways, we're in Italy.
Okay.
At least in our dreams.
We are.
And our consideration of the day is, if you're not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. Sir Ken Robinson. Alex, who is Sir Ken Robinson?
Listeners, Madeleine held out a microphone to me, and there's also a microphone between us. Sir Ken Robinson is an outspoken educator in England, and he has talked a lot about how important it is to address education, how sort of the mass production ideology that has infiltrated our education system has made it worse, that we are not serving all people in that way, and that only one type of person is benefited from our education system. And he says that about the UK, but I think that he also means it to apply to other... I love this accordion in the background. Wait. I feel transported.
Me too.
This is a good choice. Yes, so that is what he's about. And so he's spoken it in different capacities to kind of promote better education.
Cool.
That's what he's about. But yes, would you mind rereading me this consideration of the day?
Yes. If you're not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original.
Well, now I'm feeling like I'm being chastised. Yeah, so, golly, I am someone who really struggled with perfectionism growing up. And it that resulted in me doing really poorly in high school. There were other things going on, but I think that something that I noticed is that I would average 100% and 50% or zeros because I would turn things in so late if they weren't perfect. And it's feels related to this, where I think that I wanted to always create something that was perfect. I always wanted to create something. I wanted to completely understand the thing that I was turning in. I wanted to have the best outlook on it. I wanted to be creating the best thing. And when I wasn't mentally prepared to do so, I just wouldn't. And that seems, right. And that seems counter to what this quote is trying to say, where it's hey, part of moving forward, part of creating is knowing that you're going to be wrong. I think this is super valuable advice. I'm still trying to take it to heart.
Totally. I totally feel you. Yeah, I think somebody told me too, if you're not, I guess this kind of ties into it, but if you're not completely being yourself, you're going to have people that don't agree with you or don't like you or think that you are wrong or etc. And I think for me personally, Alex convincing me to join him on this podcast endeavor was definitely a step in that direction for me, to say I'm gonna have grace with myself, and I'm gonna trust that others will have grace with me, and like putting yourself out there. Yeah, with the risk of being wrong. And you know what? It's better than not.
Yeah, that we sacrifice so much potential good for maybe saving face.
Totally.
This is beautiful. I love this moment.
Me too.
Soak it in, folks. All right.
Okie dokie. So, the vision of this podcast is to take some time to open up and talk about a current event or notable figure in great detail. Then to have me provide my instant thoughts and reactions to said person or event. Our intentions is not to convince our dear listeners to take a certain stance on a relevant topic, nor is it to shame or rebuke others for their beliefs. We intend to claim our existence in the world, to dig ourselves into reality, then to provide our cognitive reactions. As we are individuals of limited experience, we appreciate your willingness to walk beside us in this journey and ask for grace in our perspectives.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Great. So without further delay, let's dive into the main topic of our day, Alex.
Oh, I will.
This accordion is getting extreme now.
I think that he got a tip, and so he's like, all right, I'm going to milk this cafe now. He's like, it's working for me. Who knows if that will continue for... Do you want me to open the door?
No, this is great. It's the Chamba Chai. It's getting a little toasty.
Fantastic. Okay, Madeleine. I have a question. How educated would you say you are about the Murder Hornets?
Well, I did see this thing on the internet the other day that talked about The Simpsons and how The Simpsons predicted the Murder Hornets.
Wow.
Along with the coronavirus.
Wait, did they actually?
Well, it was a scene in The Simpsons where, like, they were talking about a pandemic and they were all wearing masks, and then all of a sudden, I don't know who it was, some, like, authority figure or something was like, release the Murder Hornets! And I was like, what? I was one of those people that was also on the internet like, wait, really?
That's
questioning
incredible.
Everything.
I've heard those claims before where it's like, The Simpsons predicted Trump being elected, or The Simpsons predicted,
Yeah. The Murder Hornets.
The Murder Hornets. And if it's true, I think, FBI, you know who to investigate for the Murder Hornet.
What's his name?
Who?
The tall guy.
Abraham Lincoln.
No! The one in The Simpsons. Donuts. Big belly.
Crusty.
Tall, yellow. Oh, man. Yep.
Homer Simpson.
Homer, thank you.
Is he tall?
Well, he's got a big head.
He does have a big head. His wife has an even taller head.
She does.
Marge?
Marge. She's got big hair.
Oh, that's true.
Big blue hair.
Is
Anyway.
she... It is blue. Always wondered about that.
I'll have to show you that clip after this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That
is all I know about the Murder Hornets.
Unfortunately, that didn't make it into my research on this topic. Otherwise, I think I would have blown the case wide open. Okay, great. That's a good place to start from. I'm going to give you the sentence version of this news story to the best of my ability, and I would love to have your hot take on it, and then we'll get into my education piece.
Sure.
Okay. Murder Hornets. Are they going to kill us all? Maybe, but not the way that you would think. What's the hot take?
Wow. First off, I wish you all could see Alex's theatrics throughout this.
I think they can hear a little bit of it.
I hope they can. What is my hot take? Read that again. I need to take that in again.
Murder Hornets. Folks.
The hands are out.
Are they going to kill us all? Maybe, but not for the reason that you would think.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the
I'm
reason?
being sensational.
What is the reason? I really hate bees.
Mm-hmm.
Really hate bees.
In general, like...
I love what they stand for. I love them. I love what they're about.
Okay.
And that they're a part of the world. But please, if there could be just like a radius of like, you don't come over here, I don't go over there.
Yeah, like respect my space.
Yeah, then that would be great for me. So, I would imagine you would die if you got stung by them. Is that what would kill you?
I'm gonna need a hot take here.
I know, it's...
the opinion. What's the hot take on this subject?
Is the government lying about the murder hornets?
Correction. The government is lying about the murder hornets.
Yo!
That's the hot take. Okay. Well, I, as always, would love to educate you about this topic in extreme granular detail, so that we can become better every day, even more educated, more ready to face this horrible, cruel world. How do you feel about that?
I'm in.
Okay, cool. I'm going to start from the beginning. Murder hornet. Is that its, like, scientific name? It's not. There is this group of hornets called the Asian giant hornets. And this murder hornet belongs to this family, this grouping of hornets. Hornets, wasps, bees. All of these are similarly related, but they do different things. So, there's the honeybee. They do what their name suggests. They pollinate. They go around. They create honey. There are carpenter bees. They don't really do a lot of pollinating. More so, they drill into wood. You can find them around your house. When I was living in the Midwest, sometimes you would find like piles of wood shavings around the house, and if you would look above, there would be like a little hole, like in like some of the carpentry like around your house, and you're like, oh, there's a bee in there.
I didn't even know that they did that.
Yeah, and they're cute. They're very fuzzy. If you stick your finger in the hole, though, they will sting you.
I will not do that.
No, don't do that. Because they don't... I mean, I think about a giant sticking his finger in my home. I would pull out a knife and I would stab it, right? So it's similar to with the carpenter bee, where they're like, hey, this is my house. Get out of my space. And so they will sting in self-defense. But their stings aren't actually all that bad as far as, like, how painful they are. I don't think anybody... Well, maybe somebody has died from a carpenter bee sting, but I don't know. Wasps and hornets are in a completely different category, even though they're in the same family, though, because they are even less about pollinating. What are they about? I don't know. Being angry. They are about ruining picnics since time immemorial. They are about...
They're teaming up right now.
Exactly. There is a particularly awful kind of wasp called the tarantula hawk wasp that... Yeah, you heard it here, folks. The tarantula hawk wasp. Tarantula hawk wasp.
Wow.
That's right. They fight tarantulas.
The bees do.
This is a wasp.
The wasp.
Yes.
Sorry.
The tarantula hawk wasp. They find a tarantula. They square up with it, and they kind of do the Muhammad Ali, like you're not going to get away from me. And then they sting the tarantula a bunch of times, and then the tarantula becomes paralyzed. It gets worse. They drag the tarantula to a little cave or whatever, and then they lay the eggs in the abdomen of the tarantula.
No.
Yes.
After it's dead?
Nope. It's still alive.
No.
Yep. And the larvae fight each other on the inside of the tarantula, and one of them succeeds and is the winner, and they eat their way out of the tarantula, and that's finally when the tarantula dies.
That is disgusting.
It is.
But also nature. But also disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Mostly disgusting.
Mostly disgusting. And so, that's kind of the worst of them, the tarantula hawk wasp. In my research of this topic, I was like, oh my, nature, you scary.
Yeah.
A lot of wasps do something similar, though, where there are wasps that kind of target caterpillars or things like that, where they'll, like, paralyze them and then lay their eggs inside.
No.
Yes.
I'm just imagining the sweet caterpillar from A Bug's Life right now.
Oh. So sweet.
Getting stung by a giant tarantula hawk wasp. Well, not that one, but...
Not that one, but similar. Yeah. Wasps are spooky because it's hard to know what they're thinking. Like, who wronged you? So, that's where we come to the Asian giant hornet. Asian giant hornets love the taste of honeybee larvae.
So they eat their own kind?
Kind of. It's like cousins. Be like if you went to visit your third cousins in West Virginia, and they're like, we're so happy to have you over for dinner. You heard it here. And yes, and then they get you. They get you. Like that kind of thing. And they're like, well, how else would you expect us to feed our young? That's the life of the Asian giant hornet. They are called giant because they grow to be pretty large. I know that our at-home listeners will not be able to see this, but with your fingers or hands, could you show me how large you think the murder hornet is?
I'm going to say about the size of one celery stick.
Okay, so like, or perhaps a 12-inch footlong from Subway?
Yeah.
Okay. It is smaller than that, thank the Lord.
What about the size of a kiwi?
Oh, okay. If like a kiwi is like this big.
Yeah.
Okay, that is also larger than the murder hornet.
Okay, great.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
What about the size of one grape?
Okay. A grape is like about this big?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
1 inch, 2 inch.
Right. Usually grapes, I mean, there are some large grapes. I've been to the store recently.
A large grape, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. It is about the size of a large grape.
Ugh.
Yes, they grow to be about 2 inches long.
Ugh, that makes me cringe.
And they have an angry face. They have an angry... Their
Can I
jaw...
look up a photo?
You may. You may. Their mandibles kind of fold over one another. They have big jaws in the front. And they're kind of this dark yellow color, striped with brown. They have big yellow wings.
Oh, the picture just popped up on my feed. Ugh.
It's bad, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. It is ginormous. I
big.
can't look.
It's bad.
Please do not Google that.
Yeah. Oof. Yep, that's bad.
I hate it so much.
That's bad, folks. So, it makes sense that a lot of people would be worried about these murder hornets. I mean, not only are they called murder hornets, but they're huge.
Yeah.
They're in America. How did this happen? Border Patrol. What's going on? How could you let this terrorist into America?
Where were their passports?
Exactly. Murder hornets, you don't belong here. You know, this is a problem. I'm trying to figure out where to go from there.
Having grace with ourselves and hope you have grace with us too.
That was a composition by Madeleine.
Thank you.
Okay. My first question when I was doing this research is, how have I never heard of these things? Like, how is this the first time in my life that I'm hearing about a murder hornet? And also, where did they come from?
Yeah.
Like, why are they first appearing in America now?
Yeah. At this time, too.
Thank you, 2020. Just another reason that I guess the world is ending.
Have you seen that meme with Donald Trump and he's like whispering to one of his associates or whatever and says, "Release the murder hornets," or "It's time."
I haven't, but
It's really funny.
that's another reason that this case is being blown wide open.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to hear more.
And I have much more.
Okay.
They are called Asian giant hornets. These specific hornets are from Eastern Asia. They can be found in provinces in China. They can be found in Japan. They are large. And when they build their hives, the way that they feed themselves is kind of by going out and attacking the bees, like the beehives that are kind of like, nearby. And then they'll bring back the food to their murder hornet queen. So that's where they're from. Oh,
We're getting a little wide
so
forward.
someone's topping us off. Thank you, Mario. I appreciate that. Tell Luigi that I appreciate
The wine is great.
Yep. Yeah, so that's where they're from, and you may say, wow, that's on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. How did they get here? Did they fly?
So wait, so are the Asian giant hornets the murder hornets?
They are one and the same.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Is right.
Is this the government's way of like, okay, I don't know if I should say this.
I think that we need to say this.
Well, you know how they were talking about it being like the Chinese thing? Are they trying to bring like them from Asia to like, oh gosh, further point fingers?
Whoa. As in, perhaps somebody in the government said, I've got an idea on how we can increase Americans' racism against
Yes, terrible,
Asian
terrible,
folks?
terrible human said that.
And this is how they're going to do it with
Yes.
murder hornets.
Yes.
I don't know, Madeleine. My gut is telling me no.
Yep.
Okay. I would love to say that I know exactly where they came from. I don't.
Where do you think?
Professionals in this field think that these hornets came over in shipping crates from Asia and were shipped to Canada, because most of the sightings of these hornets have not been in California or Arizona or any of the southern states. It's been in Washington, which is much closer to your home.
That is
It is.
very close to my home
Yeah.
that I grew up in.
Right.
No longer there.
Troutdale.
Troutdale.
Shout out.
Sponsor us, Troutdale.
If Troutdale were to sponsor this podcast, what would they want us to say about Troutdale?
Oh man.
You're kind of smacking the table.
I'm sorry. Okay. Visit the Archway. It is the beauty of Troutdale. You get a nice trout statue on your way in.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no trout in Troutdale, so don't expect any trout.
So there's no like rivers in Troutdale.
There's a river, but only salmon.
Oh.
And some other little fish, but no trout.
Okay. Do you think that it was like the first person there was like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of trout, and then it was actually in fact salmon?
You know, I have no idea. Yeah, no idea.
No idea. And I've heard through the grapevine that you're the princess of Troutdale.
No.
Is this accurate?
Okay, my stepdad was the mayor of Troutdale. So I do have some like random little bits of knowledge about the town itself because they love that stuff. My parents. But no, I'm not the princess. He is no longer the mayor, so maybe I was the princess, but no more.
What were the perks of being the princess of Troutdale?
Oh man. Well, sorry, smacked it again. That's what she said.
The perks, Madeleine.
The perks of living in Troutdale and being the mayor's daughter. Oh, your friends would just get really stunned anytime they came over and would see him doing normal things. Like one time, my friends were over and he came downstairs in basketball shorts and asked us if he wanted if we wanted Dairy Queen, he would treat us to Dairy Queen, and so they were just stunned the whole ride to Dairy Queen.
Because they were in the mayor's car.
Was in basketball shorts, driving them to get Dairy Queen.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, but small things like that made him a great mayor and a great stepdad. So. Wait,
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyways, wow, back to the Murder Hornets.
back to the Murder Hornets. So yes, the sightings of the Murder Hornets have been in Washington State, and so it seems likely that they came from Canada, as there have been sightings also in Canada. And the entomologists of the world, which are bug scientists, have been concerned and been raising kind of the alarms, so to speak, of like, hey guys, we should be taking notice of this, because these murder hornets are a big problem. And if they're in Washington, well, Washington is close to Idaho, and it's also close to Oregon, and so the murder hornets could get there too. Yeah. They have wings.
Yeah. I repeat, they have wings.
I repeat, they don't just walk.
Imagine if they walked everywhere.
Yes, I mean, it would be much slower.
Yeah.
2 inches big, that's not very big, but when they have wings, that's huge. Yeah. I don't know why that difference, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if it's a mouse and it's 2 inches big, that's the smallest mouse I've ever seen. A bug that's 2 inches big.
Yeah, no.
Giant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is a very strange way to put it. I've never thought about it that way. Mice do freak me out just as much as bugs do, but I think bigger, like bigger gerbils. Is that what a mouse is? A gerbil? Rodent?
Yes.
Bigger rodents do freak me out too. So maybe it's just what we know. Like, what we know is like, this is what it's supposed to be. And then when it breaks out of that, you're like, heck no, get me out of here.
Yes. You don't like rats either.
Nah, I don't hate them. I did have a pet rat once, so I can't really hate, but I don't know. Seeing him in the wild, when it's unexpected, no.
When one of them jumps out at you, it's never a good thing.
No.
Which is
anything like that.
Similar to an encounter with a murder hornet, because it's not crawling toward you. It's flying at you.
No.
I'm going to try and keep us back on
Yeah, I know.
We're having a lot of tangents today. I think we're having a good time. It's this Chamba Chai.
It's so good.
This Chamba Chai is literally it's not spiked with anything.
No, yeah. Just
non-alcoholic today. Entomologists are wanting to raise the alarm about these because they're saying, hey, these are kind of a big deal because they don't belong here. They're an invasive species. These are from Asia. The landscape, the flora and fauna over in those regions are more accustomed to this predator. Our landscape is not used to that. Invasive species throughout time have made big problems for different parts of the world. Are you familiar with the dodo bird?
The dodo bird. Taco Bell. Sorry. Yes, I am.
Okay. So one of the reasons why the dodo bird went extinct is because of rats.
Whoa.
Yes.
They ate them?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yeah, because on islands, there are lots of creatures that exist that, don't have any defense against certain things. The dodo bird being one of them. They were hunted by people, and they were just eaten alive by rats.
Oh my gosh.
Similarly, we have a tree that's very common in San Diego that doesn't belong here.
The palm tree?
The eucalyptus tree.
Oh, the eucalyptus tree, really?
Yes, eucalyptus is not from San Diego.
Whoa.
It's from Australia.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
Koalas.
Koala. G'day, mate.
G'day.
G'day. In any case.
Mate.
Yes, as you know, California became a state in 1850.
I did not know that, but thank you for that information.
You're so welcome. Around that time, there was a massive boom in this steam technology where they're like, hey, we need to get from place to place quickly. There's this gold rush happening on the West Coast. Wow, we got to be sending mail over there. We got to be sending people. What's a great way of transporting people? Not the Oregon Trail. People died on that all the time.
What's that?
Dysentery.
Dysentery.
Yep. Snake bites. Okay. Donner Party.
Yeah.
They ate people.
That's disgusting.
Okay. Trains. Trains were a big deal when they were, being created and connecting the coasts, because there was already this very metropolitan East Coast, and then they had started to spread into the West and the Midwest, is what it became called. But the Rockies were a problem for transit because there weren't roads yet, and so building a train through that area was important.
Yeah.
Similarly, they wanted to connect the West Coast all the way up to the Yukon, so we're going to build trains. One of the things that you need to consider when you're building train tracks is that you need a lot of wood, and so they train track builders, they said, how are we going to get a lot of wood very quickly? I know of a tree that grows very, very quickly. It's called eucalyptus. Saw it when I was in Australia. Well, bring it over, the other man said. And he did. And in San Diego, they started to grow a grove of these eucalyptus trees. And they grew to full size in 5 years. Incredible, they said. And then they made some train ties out of them. And immediately they crushed. They could not handle the weight of a train. Because eucalyptus is a very soft wood.
Yeah.
One of the reasons it grows so fast is because it's paper thin.
Yeah, it's not sturdy. Wow.
No. And you've seen around eucalyptus trees, there's all these fallen branches. Yeah. The bark of it just comes off in sheets. Yeah, it can't handle the weight of a train. And they said, well, this was dumb. This was a failed adventure here. What are we going to do with these trees? I don't know. Just leave them.
So that's the eucalyptus tree.
That is why the eucalyptus tree is here in San Diego.
And tie us back to the Murder Hornets.
Well, Madeleine, the reason I brought that up is because invasive species are bad. They shake everything up.
Yeah, but I like eucalyptus trees.
I love eucalyptus, but it doesn't belong here. And it has pushed out native species. Native species cannot grow as quickly as a eucalyptus can. And so now we have groves of eucalyptus trees. They're everywhere. They're a big problem because their branches break off and crush people. It is actually a significant statistic of people dying in San Diego because of broken eucalyptus branches.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes, it's not a staggering number. It's not everybody, you need to move out of San Diego. Eucalyptus trees are attacking the citizens. It's not at that level. But it's still, more people are dying because of eucalyptus trees than murder hornets. Wow.
So what's all the fuss?
What's the fuss? I don't know. I want to tell you more facts about the murder hornet.
Great.
I think I need to keep on painting this picture. Have you heard of Coyote Peterson? Never. Okay. He's on YouTube. He has a channel called Brave Wilderness. Coyote Peterson is kind of...
What a name.
I know. His name is Nathan Peterson, but he goes by Nathan Coyote Peterson. Yes. He has a YouTube channel where he what he's become famous for is allowing bugs to sting him. And then he, as he's being videotaped, will comment on the quality of the sting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's not the first person in the world to, come up with this idea.
Wow.
There was a guy in... golly. There was a guy who created this pain index his name was Justin Schmidt. He was an entomologist. He was born in the 40s. He wrote a lot about bugs and about their pheromones, how they would communicate to one another, but one of perhaps his greatest contribution to science was this pain scale, this pain index he said, okay, the sting from a honeybee, it's at a 1. It's, it doesn't feel good, but it's not going to ruin it's not going to ruin your whole life.
I would beg to differ, but I hear you.
Yeah. His pain index goes from 0 to 4, where 0 is like if you get bitten and there's no effect, where it's like maybe if you're bitten by an ant, it's like, oh, smack, like,
Ouchie.
Yeah, where it's like after a minute you're like, did that even? Oh, more wine, thank you. A 1 would be like a honeybee. A 4 is the tarantula hawk wasp, where if you are stung by this thing, or a bullet ant, this is ruining your life.
Yeah.
Typically because the stings have like a necrotic sort of element to them, where it gets into your neural pathways too.
Sure.
It starts to ruin your senses, and it kills the flesh almost immediately. So 4 is the worst of the worst.
What's a 10?
There is no 10. It goes to 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And which is thank the Lord that there is no 10. But yeah, so this entomologist Schmidt, he would similarly go around and let things sting him, and then he would write commentary on the quality of the stings, where about the honeybee, he wrote a very a pleasurable romantic nip, a very smoky sort of feeling, and he would wax on poetically about all of these different stings. About the tarantula hawk wasp, he would say electric, debilitating, this is the number 4. This is where Coyote Peterson comes in. He allows different bugs he kind of captures them in a little glass jar, and then he gets them with forceps, and then he kind of harasses them and gets them to sting him. Right. And so, of course, he definitely got the murder hornet to sting him.
Ugh.
Yes.
Where'd he get his hands on one?
He was in Japan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he visited Japan for that specific reason.
Wow.
I know.
No, thank you.
I know, YouTube paid him or something.
Oh.
Yes. He rated the sting of a murder hornet at 4. The highest.
Ugh.
I watched this video. It was bad. It was bad. For the first 45 seconds to a minute, he couldn't speak.
No way.
Mm-hmm. And the first words that he could utter were searing pain, absolute searing pain.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I don't want to watch that video.
No, and that's why I did the watching.
Thank
so I can
you.
just share it with you. His cast are there just being very nonchalant about it. And they're like, oh wow, it's really swelling. It's like, do you want to take off your watch? It seems like your wrist is going to swell to the point that it might cut off circulation to your hand. Yes. So they're with him, and it's turning into this small mountain on his arm.
Wow.
Around the sting. It was bad, and it kept on getting worse and worse and worse. But he didn't need to go to the hospital. He did have his EpiPen with him. He did a follow-up sort of video 12 hours later, and he said, and I quote, "It's like a fully plumped hot dog. The swelling is all the way down into my elbow and all the way up through my wrist." It was kind of the middle of his forearm that the sting was. And it was, so his arm was fully red, and it was thick. And he says,
a little wiener.
"And I think if you stick me with a fork right now, it would explode." Yes. But he seemed fine, other than the horrible nature of his arm. Which kind of leads me to, I guess, the topic of, is the murder hornet a problem? He had to grab the hornet, put it on his arm, and encourage it to sting him.
Yeah.
And it did, and it was an excruciating, awful experience. But how often are people stung by these bees?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Well, I did some research.
Of course.
In America, about 62 people die every year from a sting of any variety.
bee variety or just any bug?
Bee, wasp, hornet,
Okay.
etc. That family.
Yeah.
62 is a really low number.
Yeah. Are they allergic?
Could be. It's just anybody that dies.
Gotcha.
In Japan, people that die from specifically murder hornet stings, between 30 and 50 a year.
Whoa.
Which is not nothing.
Yeah. Not a large number.
But it's not a large number. Which kind of leads me to murder hornets. Are they actually a big deal? Because it seems like their sting is really bad, but they're not really after people. Mm-hmm. What's the fuss about?
Who the heck named them Murder Hornets? Whoever did that started the fire.
It sounds like they are tracking people down in the middle of the night.
Oh.
And murdering people.
It sounds like, that movie The Crows.
Ooh, yes.
Like the Murder Hornets.
Right.
Like swarming after you.
But that's not what's happening. I want to tell you what murder hornets are actually really good at.
I would love to hear.
Okay.
I'd love to hear what they're all about.
The life of the murder hornet. As I said toward the beginning, these Asian giant hornets love the taste of honeybee larvae. Okay? Mm-hmm. When they are setting up their hive, their queen is like, hey, I've got a hunger that only honeybee larvae could satisfy. Would you, my female warriors, go out and find those for me? And they said, of course, my queen.
Of course.
Of course, my queen. And they go, sometimes, like hundreds of miles or something ridiculous, to find the honeybee hives. And then they will swarm it. The warriors will wait outside the hive, and they will begin an attack on a hive of bees. Now, bees are not nearly as big as these hornets. And so when the bees fly out or come to land, the initial part of this attack that the hornets are doing is just catching the bees as they're flying away and flying toward the hive and decapitating them.
Oh. How do they decapitate them?
So remember how I said they have really big chompers in the front?
Yeah.
They grab the honeybee and they just bite the head right off.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
Yep, and then they just let it drop to the ground. Okay? This can take about 3 hours, but these wasps are so efficient at killing honeybees that in 3 hours they can kill 30,000 bees.
Yikes. That's gross.
It's gross. How are they so efficient at doing it? I don't know. They're so good at it. And what they'll do is they just wait, and then once the bees are like, okay, we're staying in, then the wasps go inside the hive, and they just keep on. They just keep on grabbing bees, biting their heads off. Grabbing bees, biting their heads off. And it's just this, like, annihilation of an entire hive in the course of hours. And then once all of the bees are dead, then they crawl to the middle of the hive. They eat and grab up all of the larvae that they can, and then they fly back to their hive, and their queen says, thank you for doing this. Feed my children. And that's how the Asian hornets do.
Wow.
Yeah.
How they do.
That is how they do. That is what they are designed for. Remember how I said that the landscape, the flora and fauna of the Eastern Asian region is more suited to this predator? Mm-hmm. Okay. The Asian honeybees have a specific way of fighting these hornets that they have that the honeybees of the rest of the world don't have. And it's fascinating. When honeybees hibernate for the winter, what they'll do is they'll create this giant ball of bees, and they just kind of wiggle for the whole winter, and they just kind of like, they're like, ooh, they scoot in, and then once you've had your turn on like the inside, then you're like, okay, get out, and then they just kind of like do this dance all winter of like wiggling. to keep each other warm. And the queen, I guess, gets to stay in the middle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
she's the queen.
She's the queen. But that's how they stay warm. And their wiggle can produce actually quite a bit of heat. So even in freezing temperatures, honeybees can, like, maintain a temperature of, like, 90 degrees. Like, in this ball of bee. Bee ball.
Bee ball.
Bee ball. That's the scientific name. It's not. But specifically, the Asian honeybee has a way of clumping on the hornet and wiggling to such a high degree that they create temperatures of like 115 degrees in the middle of this bee ball.
Wow.
And the hornet can't handle that, and it goes brain dead, and it just dies. Mm-hmm.
So heat, it can't take heat.
The wasps can't take intense heat. They suffocate, too, because the bees are like that. That's how the Asian honeybees handle this problem, where they will still lose quite a bit of their hive in this attack, but they don't completely die. They know, hey, this is an attack. We have a tactic. And the queen honeybee says, swarm them. And they do. Their stings, by the way, don't do anything to the Asian giant hornets. Like, they've seen, like, they've put little cameras in the honeybee hives, and they'll see the little honeybees stinging the hornets, and they're just like, whatever, I don't care.
Wow.
I know. European and Western honeybees don't have this tactic. And that's why the entomologists are saying this is a big deal.
Yeah. The bees are already in danger, too.
You are so right. Okay. This is bringing us to the region of what I was saying, murder hornets. They're going to kill us all, but not for the reason that you think. In 2007, a lot of attention was brought to this problem, this bee problem, of saying, like, oh my goodness, why are bees dying? They're just going, like, full hives are just dying. They're just dying off. And they have a word for it. It's this colony collapse. Big deal. I know. Scientists have wondered, what is the cause of this? Is it parasites? Is it some sort of infection? Is it climate change? Is it pesticides? And it's all of them.
Wow.
It's all of them. All of these things contribute to bees being at risk, dying. And there are, like, specifics of, like, oh, well, you know, when a hive gets infected with this parasite, then they become lethargic. They, like, the parasite drinks their blood, and then they just kind of like, oh, we need to get away. And so the ones that aren't able to go, that's how they manage. Climate change can contribute to changes in the season cycle, and bees can't keep up with that. Pesticides, specifically pesticides that have these nicotinoids in them, affect the bees in a really negative way. There's a lot of problems, and we haven't really figured out a solution to keep our bees alive. So this is just one more thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Scary.
Where if a hive of hornets can go through and kill an entire colony in 3 hours, that's something we need to be on the lookout for. Because it starts in Washington. They can fly, folks.
Yeah.
They can go throughout our, out our country.
Yeah.
And kill all of our bees.
Wow.
Honeybees are so important to our survival because they pollinate 70% of the crops that feed 90% of the world. And if bees were to go extinct, it's very likely that people would go extinct.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's not feasible to hand pollinate all of our crops. There was a book written in 1962 by a conservationist named Rachel Carson called The Silent Spring. Are you familiar with this book?
Nope.
Okay. So this book was written at a time when there was a shift in agriculture, farming, that sort of thing. There was kind of a push towards these synthetic pesticides, and Rachel Carson argued that these synthetic pesticides are going to lead to consequences that we will not be able to come back from. That in pursuit of a mass production of our crops that we eat, that we consume, like we may find a significant boom right now, like be able to make lots of money on this, but inevitably we will cause our own destruction.
Totally.
There was this quote by a Native American, I wish that I knew who, that said, it is only until the last drop of water is clean, only until the last fish is taken from the rivers, that we will realize that we cannot eat money.
Yes.
And I find that to be incredibly powerful. That in our pursuit of economic strength, in our pursuit of controlling this portion of our lives, in ignoring our effect on the environment, we will kill ourselves.
Scary, scary.
Scary, scary. So it's not that the murder hornets are going to hunt us down in our sleep and sting us painfully.
Please no.
They might. No, they won't. That's not what they're about. But they could contribute to a problem that is already bad and out of control.
Yeah. That's really scary.
Yeah.
Suddenly a not so humorous topic.
Right. Yes, we kind of meandered there throughout that, and then it kind of hit home all at once. Where these hornets are a problem because they are going to endanger literally our food supply.
Yeah. And thus the human race.
And I don't mean to catastrophize and say, like,
Sure.
the murder hornets are going to kill us all.
Yeah.
Because they won't.
Yeah. Scary, yeah.
It is scary. And what the experts are saying right now is that we need to take the steps to trap these hornets. And if we don't, it will become a big problem.
Wow.
Yep. That is the piece that I have for you today. That is the education topic. We are going to now move into a time of hot takes. We're going to move into a time of you processing your thoughts about it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And then we will sum up with a time of you giving us your hot take on this main story.
Wow. Well, I mean, you did a very, very thorough and good job at sharing all that information with me. I was not informed at all about the murder hornets.
I think most of America is in your shoes in that.
Yeah, it seems kind of silly, like especially with everything going on right now, it seems kind of like the murder hornets, LOL.
Exactly. Which feels similar to how it was about the coronavirus too.
At first,
yes.
Yeah. And now we're like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, my hot take, when you started talking about catching them, I was like, let's get some of those little butterfly catchers. Give me a little suit. Like, I'll go out and whoop, whoop, whoop. Personally, I don't think I would do that.
I have a statistic, I have a fact that is unsettling that I forgot to mention.
Okay, please.
Standard beekeeper suits are not thick enough to stop their sting.
That's crazy. So how do you catch it?
So you can basically put up like a big plastic bottle with like sweet water at the bottom, and so kind of a trap that like they go in it but they can't come out.
Wow.
Like a catch trap.
Yeah, okay,
like
fruit flies.
Yep.
But a larger fruit fly.
Like a huge terrifying fruit fly.
Wow. I guess I don't really have many hot takes. I'm very sorry, but the one thing I can think of is this like my duty as a citizen of America now to fight these murder hornets? Because I really would like to pass on this one. But I really care about the earth.
Okay. I see. As in, like, there should be some murder hornet fighting force, not the citizens of the United States.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the government ought to put together a task force.
I think so. I think this is an important topic that shouldn't be so humorous. Like, that sounds very serious.
Uh-huh. Totally.
So who?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, not I.
Not Madeleine.
Hopefully not.
Not Alex either, because Alex can't handle spiders. Like, I'm terrified of spiders. And a murder hornet? Come on.
No. Yeah, no thank you. I cringe at the thought of big bugs.
I mean, even just seeing a picture of it.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I don't know. I guess let's get to it.
Okay. Hot take.
Chop.
Let's get to it. Chop. Murder hornets are a problem.
Yes.
Okay.
You can get a little giggle out at first.
Uh-huh.
The name is funny.
Mm-hmm.
The thought is funny. The Simpsons is funny. Let's get real.
Okay. I like that. I like that hot take. I agree with it as well. All right, folks. Let us move into a time of rapid fire hot takes. As you know, this is a section where I will be educating, actually not at all educating. I'm just going to be telling Madeleine a one-sentence version of a story that is current, that is relevant, and she will provide her immediate hot take on the subject. And I will do my very best not to answer questions, except I will inevitably answer questions. Okay. Any questions from you, Madeleine, on this? Nope, let's do it. Here's the first one. Virtual reality consoles, like the Oculus Rift, are providing those prisoners serving life sentences they earned when they were teens the opportunity to adjust to life outside, since many have not been able to witness the rapid changes society has witnessed due to technological advances.
Wow. That is crazy. So, are they just like... That is insane. I don't know what else to say about that, to think about not witnessing that.
Yeah, like if they had earned their life sentence in the 70s, they wouldn't have gotten
the computer,
the chance
the
to.
phone, the iPhone,
Yep.
Apple. Give them iPhones. Give them... They need that. It's a part of... I mean, I just feel like it's just a part of our society now.
It totally is. Everybody has their phone,
Yeah.
their tablet with them.
Give them iPhones.
Okay. Hot take, give prisoners iPhones. I'm sure that the taxpayers will love you for that. All right, fantastic. Next topic. 15 people were arrested and placed under the jurisdiction of local border patrol after their small boat capsized when landing at Sunset Cliffs early last Monday morning.
What? I did not know that happened. So these people got arrested because their boat capsized at Sunset Cliffs. Is that what you said?
I said 15 people were arrested and placed under the jurisdiction of local border patrol after their small boat capsized when landing at Sunset Cliffs early last Monday morning.
It was a Monday. They were grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
They said, hook them up. Take 'em.
Yeah.
Am I losing steam? I'm losing steam.
Yeah, I mean, the Chamba Chai, it's
The
relaxed
Chamba
us.
Chai's were they from a different country?
Yes.
Okay. Where were
Yes.
they from?
Mexico.
Oh. Those grumpy people. The people that arrested them.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. What happened to their boat?
I don't know. It capsized.
Wow.
It turned over.
Wow.
They needed to be rescued by the Coast Guard.
Wow. Are they still in prison? Are they still detained?
I don't know. The Border Patrol is pretty cagey about their information.
Yeah.
Like, once they're, kind of surrendered to the Border Patrol, that's handled by, like, they're their own agents.
Yeah.
This is a rapid hot take.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm explaining this far too much.
I mean, I don't know. That's sad.
It is sad.
That's sad that they got detained. They were just on a nice boat trip.
Well.
And then it capsized. And then another bad thing to happen to them to get detained. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Hot take. That's terrible. All right. Third story. This one's a doozy.
Okay. Oh, no.
The craft store chain Hobby Lobby has been under serious investigation for the purchase of an ill-gotten 3,500-year-old artifact known colloquially as the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet that was stolen from a museum in Iraq after Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1990.
Alex, that was so much information. Okay, here was my thoughts when you read all that. First, love Hobby Lobby. What does colloquially mean? And then the rest, I was just stuck on those two things.
Okay, I'll read it again. I can even change the words a little bit. The craft store chain Hobby Lobby has been under serious investigation for the purchase of an ill-gotten 3,500-year-old artifact known as the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet that was stolen from a museum in Iraq after Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1990.
Wow. Why does Hobby Lobby have this? What are they going to do with that? Put it on the shelves. Sell it next to the fake florals. The floral aisle. Wow.
How much do you think they paid for it?
Not a lot. Maybe they smuggled it in.
Hobby Lobby?
Yeah. That's all I got.
Wait, where was the hot take?
No clue.
Oh, really? This is actually this is a big thing in the news.
Is it really?
It really is.
Well, LOL. Hot take, Hobby Lobby, give it back. Give it back. Does it belong to you? No.
Right.
Give it back.
It's 3,500 years old.
Yeah, that belongs in a museum. Not in Hobby Lobby.
What if I told you it's in a museum owned by Hobby Lobby?
Hobby Lobby owns museums? Mm-hmm. Why?
It's called the Museum of the Bible.
Why does Hobby Lobby own this? Do I really know? Hobby Lobby's like a craft store, isn't it?
Is it?
It's like a home appliance store.
Is it?
Like you go and buy decor.
No, it totally is. But also, they own a museum called the Museum of the Bible.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So does this artifact have to do with the Bible and stories within
Well, it's 3,500 years old.
Yeah.
So it's older than the New Testament.
Wow. That's insane. Why does Hobby Lobby own that? That's my hot take.
And it was stolen from an Iraqi museum, like a cultural museum, in 1990.
That's where it
Yes.
belongs.
Yes. Okay.
Put it back.
Hot take, Hobby Lobby, put it back. Okay. Here's the fourth one. I told you that was going to be a doozy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm running low on steam.
The fourth one. Over the last 7 years, a deadly tree-targeting bacterium known as Xylella fastidiosa has ravaged groves of olive trees in the Puglia region of southern Italy, causing olive oil production to drop to 10% of what it once was.
Okay, read that again.
Okay. Over the last 7 years, a deadly tree-targeting bacterium known as Xylella fastidiosa has ravaged groves of olive trees in the Puglia region of southern Italy, causing olive oil production to drop to 10% of what it once was.
Well, we're screwed. Sitting here in Italy, drinking our coffee.
I know. Here we are.
Wow. Fight the bacteria.
Hot take.
Those murder hornets need.
Oh,
people.
wait. So we can get that murder hornets to fight the bacteria. Okay. Hot take. Murder hornets fight the bacteria. All right. Here's the fifth one. The last one. And it's a long one. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh, Alex.
I'm really good at writing like super long sentences. Here we go.
I'm gonna make the answer really quick.
All right. In order to both support the effort of combating the coronavirus and to ensure their supply doesn't go to waste, the Annick Brewery Company, a prominent brewery in northeast England, has begun giving away free pints of beer on Fridays to anyone who brings their own bottles with a simple request that each patron donate to the National Health Service.
Well, beer belly. Wow, Alex, that was a lot of information. Read the first part again.
Okay. In order to both support the effort of combating the coronavirus and to ensure their supply doesn't go to waste, the Annick Brewery Company, a prominent brewery in northeast England, has begun giving away free pints of beer on Fridays to anyone who brings their own bottles with a simple request that each patron donate to the National Health Service.
That's kind. That's very kind. That's all I got.
That's very kind. That is the hot take. That is very kind, giving away free beer. Mm-hmm. One of their patrons said, I wish I could have brought my spare tub, like bathtub, as he was waiting in line.
That's awesome.
Okay. Well, folks, that is all of our stories today, all of the hot takes. With that, our time is finished. We discovered that the hottest of takes... Actually, let me remind myself what the hot takes were. Actually, I think that the hottest take was Hobby Lobby, give it back. So that's the hottest of hot takes.
I enjoy that one. After all the talk of Murder Hornets.
I know, that's important, but discovering that Hobby Lobby owns a museum in the middle of the country is very strange.
Yeah, that is strange. Didn't know that.
Getting a little serious as we finish our time. As always, we encourage you to love yourself well. You deserve all the joy and respect you desire, just because you are you. Join us next week, where we will be sipping on hard kombucha, listening to the cries of young hippopotamus, and giving you our freshest, hottest takes about something completely new. Goodbye for now.
So long.